stand for and the future that you have. To hear the introduction of the faculty, to understand the tremendous knowledge, experience, and enthusiasm that they're going to bring to this campus. To visit with Dr. Ben Duran, whom I've known before and appreciate the leadership that he gives. To recognize our classified staff that, of course, is going to make a great contribution. So I've just been inspired by being here and getting a feel of the college campus. I am originally a teacher and spent a lot of years in the community colleges, and I guess I'm like an old prize fighter who hears the bell and sort of feels good about what we're engaged in. I have with me today my wife, a former community college teacher, Merced Scott. You know, I'm encouraged about your enrollment growth. The fact that you exceeded 10,000 full-time equivalent students for the first time in the history of Merced College. The kind of building expansion that's going on here, and the way in which this college is so central to the Merced community and the surrounding smaller communities. You have done service here for over 40 years, and you've made an impact on lives that's unimaginable. It's hard to measure how people have been changed and have been enriched as a result of it. So I thought a little bit about what I would say today, and I will assure you that we'll be brief. After all, I'm the only thing standing between you and lunch, and I'm aware of that. I thought about that line from Charles Dickens' novel, The Tale of Two Cities. It starts off like this. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. And as I look out at California community colleges, I want to talk to you about how in some ways it's the best of times, and yes, in some ways it's the worst of times. You might even question how it could be the best of times, but it's the best of times because in my years of experience in the community college, which goes back to 1973, I don't believe that the community colleges, both statewide and nationwide, have been held in higher esteem than they are today. The reason is pretty evident. President Obama frequently mentions the community college as he sets forth the educational goals of the fact that we once again want to be leading the world in the number of college graduates that we have. Recently, Martha Cantor, the chancellor of the De Anza Foothill Community College District, was named Undersecretary of Education. That's the highest post that a community college president has held in the Department of Education. She's over all of higher education. Jill Biden is the wife of the Vice President Joe Biden, is a community college teacher, and is a great advocate for the community colleges. I recently read a poll by the Public Policy Institute here in California, and of the three segments of higher education, the community college had the highest approval rating. I remember when I first entered the legislature, as I would talk to my fellow legislators about the community colleges, I was pleasantly surprised at what a positive view they often held. They would talk about how the community college had impacted their particular community, how perhaps their children or they themselves had attended a community college, or their friends who had attended community college had commented on it and how it had made such an impact. And so, sometime in maybe times of bleak news, I think we ought to recognize that we are exciting, we are doing a job in the community that no other segment of higher education is doing, and people are beginning more and more to recognize the value of the community college. It's shown by the tremendous attendance that we have. I just looked at the attendance figures for nation, not only in the nation, but in the world. So you're part of an important enterprise. But I guess I would not be painting the full picture if I didn't talk to you a little bit about some of the difficulties that we face fiscally in California. I'm reminded of the old Texan who went to the doctor, and the doctor, he complained about the fact he was losing his hearing, and the doctor said, well, Henry, you know, you're really drinking too much whiskey, and said that's one of the things that's impacting your hearing, and you need to lighten up on that. Well, about 6 months went by, and the doctor saw him again, and he said, you know, your hearing is worsened, and I want to know why. And he said, well, doctor, I thought about it for a while, and frankly, I liked what I was drinking better than what I was hearing. So sometimes I don't like what I'm hearing about the status of finances in the state of California. But of course, it's not simply the fact that California is impacted. We are experiencing the worst recession since the Great Depression of the 1930s. And all people point that out. I read the other day something that kind of shocked me. The gross domestic product that exists has gone down for the whole world in 2009. Not just in the United States, but this is a worldwide recession that we're experiencing. And so it's impacting the revenues of the state of California. In the last 2 years, the revenues of the state of California have gone down 18%. So there's no way that the community colleges could escape. Yes, we did get a cut this year, and I was there talking to many of my former colleagues and doing the best we could to try to lessen the damage. But it was the community colleges eventually. We're going to experience about an 8 to 9% cut in the funds that will come our way this year compared to last year. That will be about 3.39% in the general fund, but the categorical programs are going to suffer a great deal because they're going to take a 27% cut. Now, there is some flexibility in those categorical programs. The college itself can look at those and do some shifting around after they're explained and so forth, and even some of the general fund can be used to help them out. But we are facing a difficult time in terms. But I sense, as President Duran said this morning, that this college pulls together. You'll have to tighten your belt. You'll have to make some changes. I would be less than realistic if I tried to say that. I often think of that serenity prayer, you know, that where it says, Lord, let me have the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can change, and the wisdom to know the difference. And so we do have a reality out there that we have to come to terms with. We will need, in the California community colleges, to look at our mission very carefully and to really focus on our major mission. In all institutions, there's something that happens